up, everyone? Welcome to Unmasked, where things are discovered, uncovered, brought to light, and made known. I'm your host, Lamar Barrett, coming live to you from PG County, Maryland. If you're interested in finding about the untold stories behind being a college coach, this is the show for you. Being a former assistant men's college coach for 16 years, there are so many untold stories in the life of a college basketball coach. Now, let's unmask them. Today's guest is a former co-worker, big-time assistant coach, 10-year NBA veteran, and New York native Craig Speedy Claxton. Now, Speedy is a graduate of Christ the King, one of the most famous high schools in the country. He played with a loaded team with, the likes of Lamar Odom and Eric Barkley. He also went to Hofstra University where, he had an outstanding career, where he ended up getting drafted to the Philadelphia 76ers in 2000. He actually ended up winning a title, going to the NCAA tournament as well while he was there. And then he spent a couple of years in Philly, and he went to San Antonio Spurs. And from the Spurs, he actually ended up winning a championship during the time of his 10 years in the NBA. So, and after he finished playing in his career, the 10 years, he became an NBA scout with the Warriors for a few years before coming back to his alma mater at Hofstra University in 2013. First year as a special assistant head coach, and then for the last year, he's been an assistant coach and has done a tremendous job. I was fortunate to work with him for 3 years on the staff at Hofstra, and when I say he does a tremendous job, and a big reason why Hofstra University is successful, Speedy plays a big part in that. But with no more ado, welcome to the show, Speedy.
What's going on, my man? Thanks for having me.
Glad you could make it, man. When I first thought about doing this, I was like, I gotta have Speedy Claxton up here, especially a guy I worked with for 3 years, and like when you get to know someone, not just at work, but also off work. One of the best guys I've worked with, and I really appreciate you coming on today.
Definitely. I'm glad to be here, man. All the knowledge I could drop, I'm here to drop it.
All right, Speedy. So with all that being said, man, let's get unmasked. First thing I'm gonna say is, there's no handbook in being a college coach. Tell me about your first day, first week, month, after things are done with human resources. Like, I know you were the first year you was a special assistant, but even you could talk about that second year when you now you become a assistant coach for the first time, and you see it from the outside, but you don't really know what it's like on the inside. But tell me what that's like, especially when no one gives you direction.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird. Like you said, I was special assistant for not even a whole year. It was like 2 months. I took the job in July, and in September, Kyle Neptune, who was on the staff, who's now at Villanova, got offered the Villanova job, so he left, and they gave me the assistant job, taking his place. So I know what to expect. When I was special assistant, I didn't really have a job description. I was just kind of helping out wherever help was needed. And then was just trying to find my way. And then the first day after I got the real assistant job, they told me I got to take a recruiting test. I was like, I got to do what? And I was like, a recruiting test? I didn't know any of the rules. So it was like, don't worry about it. They gave me like a practice test. And it's like, yo, just take the practice test a couple of times. And then most of the questions will be the same questions that will be on the real test. So I was like, all right, cool. So I took it and somehow passed it.
That's stuff that people don't talk about. I'm glad you brought that up. When I first came in, it was 40 questions, 80 minutes. So you had to get 80% of the questions right. The handbook is 500-600 pages almost. You got to know all these rules. And then now it's 30 questions, 60 minutes. Everybody, whether you take it the first time or you taking it for the 15th time, you always nervous going into that test because you don't know what they're gonna ask.
I hate when that time. It's actually that time of the year is now actually. So I'm sure we're gonna take it pretty soon. And like you said, it's always nerve-wracking, man. Like, I hate that test, man.
All right, look, what was your because you that's a part of your job, is a big part of the job, recruiting. Everybody knows that recruiting is a lifeline of college basketball. But what was your best and worst recruiting story?
My best and worst recruiting story? I got to think about that one. Man, my best recruiting story was probably getting Justin Wright Foreman when nobody really wanted him, and then he turned out to be an NBA player. That's pretty much unheard of. Like that's kind of tough. That don't happen too often, where a kid gets under recruited tremendously, and then turn out to be one of the best players to ever come out of that program.
That's true. That's true. Anything worse? Like like some people don't have worse recruiting stories. It could have been a trip or anything like that. Like while you're out traveling or any of that stuff. Could have been a visit on campus or any of that stuff. Anything like that?
Yeah. Yes, I got one for you. My worst recruiting experience. I went out to South Plains Junior College, and they had an ice storm in the middle of the winter in like January, and I got stuck out there for like a week. It was horrible. And they didn't know how to handle no ice. It's Texas, they don't snow or nothing like that. So the whole city and state got shut down, and I was just kind of stranded in the hotel. And it was kind of nerve-wracking, man.
Wow, that's yeah. You don't expect that. You don't you don't expect that one at all. Like it's a snowstorm. Like that's just stuff that's unfortunate.
I ended up having to drive to Dallas, and got lucky that a flight went out when it was supposed to, because they kept canceling flights. I was like, man, well, my only hope, there was no flights leaving. I think it's where's South Plains, in Lubbock or something like that.
Yeah, supposed to,
yeah. So there was no flights leaving out of Lubbock. So my only chance was to drive to Dallas and hope that I could get on a flight and get out. So I took the chance. It was a risk because it's ice on the road, so it was slippery. So I had to take my time. And I think it's normally like a 3-hour drive, but it took me like 6 hours on the road. And then luckily I was able to board a flight, man. Thank God, and got out of Dodge.
Wow, I'm glad you did. So next thing is like, because people, like a lot of people don't understand what goes into college basketball and like what things you have to give up. I know you as an NBA player, you was in it for 10 years. So, that's different. But like you come to college basketball and, you had 3 young girls. And so it's a little different. But what did you have to give up achieving your current level of success?
I mean, a lot of family time, honestly. When you're in this game of basketball, it demands so much of your time, from being a player to being a coach. So you got to give up a lot of your family time, which sucks, man. You don't really get to see your kids grow on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus that a lot of people answer is family, man, is big. What's your and this is always an interesting one here. Like, what was your best and worst scouting report? And I'm gonna ask you this because I know you're very thorough when it comes to that. You're so far in advance, and because sometimes like you might have your best scouting report and it could be the worst game because the players just didn't follow it, or you can have your worst scouting report. You like, dang, some of the stuff they doing, and then you play your best game. So, what's the recollection of that? Like your best or worst scouting report?
My best scouting report probably had to be against Towson. I think I knew that offense better than they did. So every time Scary will call a play, I'll be able to direct my guys on what was about to come. But then it's crazy because this year, I think Pat got hip to us and he came up with some new plays, and it kind of caught us off guard. the second time we played them.
Anything worse? Because I know, like I was saying, like
my worst scouting part was probably my first year. I mean, like you said, when you take the job, they kind of just throw you to the wolves. So I didn't know how to scout. I never scouted a game or anything like that. So I mean, I know my scouting reports weren't great my first year at all because I know what to do. Our video coordinator at the time, Jason Poser, thank God, he was in the college basketball world for quite some time, and he the one who kind of helped me and showed me what to look for, how to break down a team, and I actually owe him a lot to this day, man.
Shout out Jason, man. He's a great dude. I'm waiting to see him get on the scene where he's it doesn't have to be Division I. I know he's at Division II Queens, but him being a head college coach somewhere, it's in the making for him. He's a great guy. Time that I got a chance to know him while I was there, and still got a friendship with him. I think he's a terrific guy. I think he has a great basketball mind. So he
definitely has a great future ahead of him. He has a great basketball mind, and he's a great person. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah. Biggest challenge you have experienced since you have become a college coach?
Biggest challenge, trying not getting out there, I wish I could get out there to help my guys out. Especially when guys are out there talking shit to my guys, I wish I could be out there playing. So that's the biggest thing I had to overcome was the mental aspect of everything, man, of not being a player anymore and thinking as a coach.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the hardest thing. A lot of times people don't realize, like, because it's always in you. Like, playing is always in you. So it's like, man, your mind thinks you can go out there, but your body, like, I know you work out a lot, you stay in shape, and so like, but at the time you're like, I'm still 40 plus.
I know.
I'm 42 years old now. Like,
reality sets in real quick.
It does. So, do you ever find? Because this is my thing. I know one day you big into alma mater. Like I said, I was fortunate to work with you for 3 years. I know you're gonna be a dynamic head coach, and so people see you out. You're not like always got to chatter and talk with everybody. You speak with everyone. You'll talk to them, but you're not like the guy who's like always in everybody's face. You see those guys out on the road, always talking, always sharing something. But do you ever find there are things about you that people misunderstand, and what are they?
Probably that I'm quiet. Everybody thinks I'm a quiet guy, but I'm not quiet. I just kind of stick to myself. I'm just watching everybody. And when the opportunity presents itself, if I want to talk to you, I'll talk to you. It's not about being quiet. I'm sure you probably thought I was quiet, but now that you know me, you probably don't think I'm quiet anymore.
And that's what I tell people, because they always ask, like, how was Speedy? I was like, man, you don't understand, like, great guy. I'll say it again later on, but, like, I was fortunate to work with two guys who played in the NBA, and, like, both of you are similar. Like, quiet, you to yourself, and everybody, like, always want to know, like, how are they? Like, no, they're great. They're just like anyone else. They don't talk to a lot of people. But they're great guys. And like, you got to get to know them, and then they'll open up and they'll talk to you. But you're right though. Like, that's one thing. Like, everyone, you look at people and they like try to figure you out because you don't really talk to them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably plays in the fact that we play in the NBA, and we can't, at that level, you really can't let too many people in. So you kind of still stuck in your ways. But then once you get to know us and we get to know you, then we kind of open up.
Yeah. And
we allow you in our circle.
Yeah. That's good stuff to know. We're all educators in this, Speed, and like you probably more than anyone. You've seen a lot more than a lot of the players you coach. Just from a basketball standpoint, definitely. But like just even stuff outside of basketball. But like, what would you try to teach your players besides basketball?
Well, especially with the situation going on now, I would like to teach my guys how to deal with police officers when they get stopped. Like a lot of times, I think these young kids get stopped by the cops for the wrong reason, and then they want to be in uproar. That's not the way to handle these cops. Like, you're pretty much in a lose-lose situation at that point. So you might as well try to get out of it, you know what I'm saying, and not have your life in jeopardy. So be respectful and don't try to escalate the situation.
That's great advice, especially this time, what's going on now. You know, like people need to, yeah, I mean, that's something that they, you know, I don't think we do enough as coaches. You know, you kind of like talk about life sometimes, like stuff, real stuff that go on. You know, you assume that they know or their parents taught them, but a lot of them don't. They don't know. They come to campus and have no idea.
Yeah. So we gotta kind of teach them how to be men.
I totally agree with you because I say that all the time. Like, you know, that's the one thing that I said was, you come to campus, your parents drop them off. Our job is to rear them, you know, to get them from young boy to man now. Like, they're going to be 4 or 5 years of your life. You got a big impact on them, and the parents are trusting you, and like you like want them to become better people when they leave here, not just better basketball players. And I think that's a lot of times people forget about that. So,
yeah.
And of course this year, like, and I'm saying in coaching, this had to be one of the highlights because I know that's going to be probably an answer. You know, people don't realize, like, you have been there 6 years. You won a conference championship. You ended up, you know, now you end up going, you know, you get invited to the tournament. Or you win your tournament to go to the NCAA. First time since 2001, so almost 20 years. But what are your best and worst memories in coaching?
Well, my best memory is definitely going to the tournament this year. Getting a chance to go to the tournament this year. I mean, you know how hard we worked over the last couple of years, and to finally be able to get over the hump, that was an amazing experience. And then the worst will probably be getting over that hump, but then not really being able to go, getting a chance to go.
Yeah, that was
you know, that's it's like, damn, we got there, but now we didn't get there. And you know, being at the mid-major level, look, it took us damn near 20 years to be able to do that again.
Right.
So who knows when's the next time that opportunity is gonna present itself for us, man. It could be another 20 years, or it could be next year. You never know, man. So I think it was quickly the best and the worst in the same week.
I feel you on that one. So there are people in the business that like stereotype former NBA players, coaches when they take a job in college. What was your biggest transition after playing and scouting, you know, in the NBA to a college basketball assistant?
I mean, you know, they all hit you with lack of experience. I mean, you go out for these jobs and their way of turning you down is to say you have no experience. But how am I supposed to get experience if nobody's giving me the opportunity to get that experience? Thank God that I did what I did for Hofstra when I was at Hofstra, or I probably wouldn't have the job that I have now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, and you're seeing more and more guys going back, you know, to college, going to their alma maters and wanting to, you know, for the time they spent there, and going back and like just being a part of it. And, you know, like I said, it's big on you that, you know, you've been there 7 years, you know, you get to the tournament, and like, you know, like I see it, I envision big things for you, like, you know, being the next head coach there. That's what I think. I know that's probably your dream. You know, so
that's the plan.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. What is the strangest? This is kind of interesting. So, like, I know sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's sad or whatever, but like, what is the strangest thing a player has done outside of the basketball court that you've seen?
The strangest thing outside of basketball? Man, probably one of our former players a couple of years back, Jamal Robinson, man. He had a birthday, his 20th birthday, and he tried to take 20 shots. Like, that's just the recipe for disaster.
Definitely. That's definitely a disaster. Now this is kind of interesting. This is going to probably stun you a little bit. A lot of people, it's interesting some of the answers I've gotten, but like, what movie or TV show, because I know you're a big movie, TV show guy, but what movie or TV show title best describes your week?
My what?
Week. Like a week, like you at work or just at home. What?
Man, let me see here. I would probably say Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Oh, now why is that? That's I know, because like I said, I know you're big, TV show, Netflix. Like, I know you're big on that.
Yeah. Sorry, that's Amber's being loud. Why did I say Breaking Bad? Just because you expect in that show, you kind of just expect the unexpected. And a lot of times within the week, that's what happens, man. You got to expect the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen.
I like that. Breaking Bad. I like that. What's your favorite word or phrase? Like, you might use it in practice around the players. Like, do you have a favorite word or phrase?
Yeah. I always tell these kids light cardio. Light cardio.
Light cardio.
Whenever they doing sprints or we're doing shooting drills and it's a lot of running, I always be like, yo, just a little light cardio. That's all.
I'm sure they like that. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, Speedy?
The best piece of advice, probably, you know what? Honestly, probably from Coach Popovich, man. The year I was in San Antonio, when the year started, I was playing a lot of minutes, and then I got hurt at the beginning of the season, so I sat out most of the season. And then when I came back, I didn't get the same minutes that I was playing before I got injured. So in one game, we was playing against Miami, and he put me in like garbage time for the first time, and I was pissed off that's the first time he put me in the game. So I went out there, but I was kind of just passing, being passive aggressive, not really looking to score, getting the lane, or not really playing my type of game. And then he pulled me into the office after the game. I was like, yo, don't ever disrespect yourself or this game or this organization like that. Whenever you go out there on the court, you give it your all. You never know who's watching you. And I appreciate that from Pop a lot.
That's some good stuff. I mean, that and kids need to hear that. That's why I'm glad you're saying that. Like, they need to hear that, because a lot of times you're always being evaluated, man. That's what I don't think people understand. Whether it's on your job, you playing, it could be you walking out of your house. People, they evaluate every situation. So, I mean, that's something I hope the kids, I know you definitely letting them know that. So I hope they understand that. That's advice they should always carry with them. Where is your happy place? It's gonna be interesting to hear your answer on this. Like, where is your happy place?
Well, at the moment, my happy place is my house. But usually my happy place is on the court, man. That's where I usually find my peace and calmness, is when I'm on the basketball court.
Wow. Usually people, like, I've heard people say, I go to the movie, theater, I go in the gym. That's, you know what, like, and I always say that the basketball court is a sanctuary. Like, we talk about it with players all the time. Like, when you come in here, all your problems should go out the window when you're in here practicing. For whatever long you're in here, you know, you forget about everything. And I like that answer. That sign of a true baller right there when you made that statement. If you had to choose 3 adjectives to describe yourself, which would you choose?
Oh, man. I would say feisty. Emotional and caring.
3 great traits. I like that. So, and I know this from being around you, like, you're a big family guy. You know, like, you know, people are always somehow at your house, friends. You know, Amber, as you mentioned, shout out her. And all great people. So, and, you know, your friends are always around. But, like, what quality do you value in the people with whom you spend time?
That they're good people and they treat everybody with respect that they come in contact with. I don't like people who are mean, spirited people.
Great answer. And I'm gonna say this because we haven't. I know you talked about Pop, but you play for some great guys, man. And I just said something about your dad. He's a great guy. I mean, you talking about, you start off with Jay Wright in college. I mean, you have, and this, I'm just going from the college days. Then you get to play for Larry Brown, Hall of Famer. So Jay Wright, Hall of Famer. Larry Brown, Hall of Famer. To Popovich, Hall of Fame. Like, you don't get any better than that. And you're in a small window. You know what I'm saying?
I was fortunate, man. I was blessed in my basketball career to have played for some great coaches. Like you said, it started even before Jay Wright, man. God rest his soul. My high school coach Jerry Ingenito he taught me the game the right way, honestly, which made it easier for me to transition into Coach Wright's style of yelling and being all up in your face, and then to Larry Brown, then to Greg Popovich. I mean, then to some people might not know him as a great coach, but he really is a great coach, Eric Musselman.
Yeah. Wow.
I played for Muss, who's doing really well in the college ranks.
Yeah, Arkansas. Right, yeah.
I mean, then from Muss, I went to Mike Montgomery, who was a successful coach, college coach for a number of years at Stanford.
Yeah.
Then I played for Mike Woodson, who's a hell of a coach. He was a great player. Played for Byron Scott, good coach, great player. Don Nelson for a little bit before I retired. So I was fortunate and blessed, man, in this with the coaches that I've been around.
With saying that, I'm gonna say, so who? And I ask this first because it's almost 2 questions, but like, I'll say, who are your role models in coaching and why?
I would say Pop and Coach Wright, Jay Wright. I would say those 2. Pop, because Pop treats everybody the same, no matter if you're Tim Duncan or you're the last man on the bench. If you mess up, he's gonna tell you that you messed up and what was the right play, or pull you out the game or whatever it is, but he's gonna discipline you. Whereas a lot of coaches, if you're a star player and you mess up, they don't say anything for fear of losing you. Then I would say Coach Wright also, because Coach Wright really knows how to get the most out of his players. Like, his guys play so freaking hard, man. And I think if you get your guys to play that hard in this day and age, you're gonna have a chance to win every ball game.
Facts. I like that. And I'm gonna say this because this will be an and/or question, and this is why I said it's kind of 2-part. Because I mean, I probably know the answer, but I want everybody else to know, like, what person and/or event has had the most influence on your life?
What event?
It could be person. It could be person or event. Or however you want to answer.
The person, I would say my dad, man. Honestly, the way he raised me to be kind to others and just there for your kids, how to be a real man. I really owe my life to him, literally.
And it's interesting because, like, I've been around your dad. I mean, I know he's come to the office, he come to the games. I love talking to him because he just is a bigger basketball junkie than you are a lot of times. I've been at a high school game, sitting with him at a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to recruit, and he's been there. So it's just amazing, like, to talk to him. And, you know, like, you got him as a father, but, like, I mean, for you, like, you can even, you know, like you said, he came over here and he was more of a cricket player, right? Like, that's
he didn't even play basketball. I mean, he was an athlete, but his sport was cricket. I didn't see him play too much. But he told me that he was equivalent. He was the Michael Jordan of cricket in his heyday.
I like that. Well, look, this is the question I love to end with, and you know, and you, like, yours is a little different. Like, you played professionally and then came in, but and I'm gonna just ask you from before you even started. So, like, within the last 7 years, like, knowing what you know now, because I think it's gonna help you when you become that head coach. But knowing what you know now, what would you tell your young self or younger to prepare for as an assistant coach?
If it was possible to try to get into the coaching game a little sooner. I think I took too much time off from the time when I finished playing to start my coaching career. You know, when my last year when I was in Golden State with Don Nelson, he actually wanted me to join his staff because he's seen how I directed players while I was playing. And he was like, you know what, you would be a hell of a coach, but at that time, that's not the route I wanted to take. But thinking back, I wish I would have, because once you're out of the NBA, it's harder to get back into the NBA. And it's a small fraternity of assistant coaches within the NBA circles, and they kind of just seem like they kind of just rotate. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to break in, but once you're in, you're in. And at that time, that was probably my way of getting in, and I should have took it at that time.
Small window. But look, man, Speedy, man, I thank you again for being a guest on the show. I mean, we always, you know, I decided to go, you know, doing scouting, and I sat and talked to you about this stuff all the time, probably for the last few years, of, like, you know, what's your thoughts and things like that. But, and I just want to thank you just for probably listening more than anything the last few years, and just talking, and you know, I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, thanks for coming to the show and being unmasked. You know, like, but anything you got to say before we sign off?
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me, and loved having you on staff. He was a great roommate, so I appreciate that. And just good luck and stay safe, man.
All right, man. So thank you, viewers, for watching another great show. Stay tuned for the next guest as we get them unmasked. See you next time, and stay safe.